Hi, it's about time I showed you about my trip that I took after the wedding that we went to in La Jolla. So finally, I'm ready to sit down and chat with you about it. So get ready and let's go on a trip up the coast of California to Oregon. So first we were in La Jolla for the wedding of my niece, and I have a video about that. If you have not seen that, take a look. It was absolutely amazing, filled with gorgeousness and everything elegant and beautiful. Right after the wedding, soon after, we went to the airport and my husband and I flew to San Francisco. So we landed in San Francisco and rented a car and immediately drove to Jenner, California, which is right there on the coast, a beautiful rocky beach area on the coast, gorgeous. And we stayed at this really cool place. I had seen it online and it looked really neat, and I thought, let's do it. It was called Timber Cove Resort, am I right? Yes, it was called Timber Cove Resort, and it was just spectacular. It was reminiscent of, it was kind of retro in a way, and just stunning. And the way they did the lobby and all the stuff, the rooms were beautiful. So I will definitely show you a little room tour because I thought it was really different. They had a lot of little retro touches, and they had record players in every room. And then down in the lobby, you could choose different records to play. They had some in the room for you, but you had different choices in the lobby, and just games you could just borrow right there and play in front of the fireplace in the lobby. It was really neat, and the view was just spectacular. And right after the events of the wedding and so forth, it was the perfect place to just relax and listen to the surf. And we just laid on the bed and listened to, the ocean for the longest time and just relaxed. And they had a bottle of wine there for us too, which was absolutely wonderful. It's now my new very favorite Pinot Noir. I just loved it. So I'm searching for it around here now, but it was just amazing, and the whole place was great. So we spent the night there. I'll show you some of that. By the way, the sunsets there, oh my gosh, stunning, just gorgeous. I could sit in those two chairs forever. I mean, they were just, it was the most beautiful, serene, just you could breathe. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Loved it. Okay. The next day we had a drive to the Redwoods National State Park to look at the redwood trees. Beautiful, beautiful drive. Some coastal, some a little bit in. My husband loves to drive, so we rented a car that he thought would be fun. It's easy to find in parking lots. That's one of the good things too. So we rented this car that you'll see and just drove and drove and drove. Got to the Redwood State Park and looked at all the beautiful redwoods. Just driving through those trees was like a complete and total experience unlike any other. They are enormous. I mean, I knew that, but until you see them in person and you're standing next to one, and they're so big. And just they go on and on and on. It's not just one little, area of them. They are hours. We were driving hours and hours and hours and seeing nothing but gorgeous trees, lots of redwoods. It was amazing. Anyway, right when it's kind of sketchy when it comes to cell phone reception there. So I was not able to really communicate with many people. Just when we'd hit little towns and stuff, you'd have to kind of find a spot. So right when we got to the Redwood State Park, we did get a text from my sister to call, and we did. And my dad had taken a fall, and so they were taking him to the hospital to check things out and so forth. So I'm thinking, okay, why when I'm not near to get to him? You know what I mean? Did it have to happen? But it turns out he did not break anything. He was just kind of bruised and had some like lacerations and stuff that they took care of. So he was sore, very sore, and slow moving for a bit there, but he didn't break anything, which was wonderful. But I did get to find that out then, and just said a prayer and kind of went on, and it was looking for any indication that I needed to go, cut the trip short and see him, but that didn't end up happening, which was nice. So we did some more looking around at the redwoods, and I'm standing in this gigantic tree, and it was amazing. And at one point my husband had to take a business call. There was a meeting that he needed to attend, and so we had to find cell reception for him to do so. He needed his, laptop and hopefully be able to see too, but I don't know if we could get that much reception. So we did find this tiny little town on our travels past where we were at that time, and we ended up parking the car in this itty bitty little town with one little market in the little alleyway right behind the dumpster. We could get enough cell reception that he could take his business call. And I just wandered around in the little mini mart and chatted with the people and so forth. And I bought a banana and I ate that. And, I was doing all this kind of stuff while my husband was having a business meeting by the dumpster. So that was fun. And then we took off afterwards and kept heading down the road with the most gorgeous, gorgeous trees. Just hours and hours of gorgeous, gorgeous trees. So then we ended up spending the night in Klamath, California. It just happened to be right there on the way, and found out we were hungry. We found out when we asked, where can we eat? There was one restaurant that was open that day. And so we went there and we had really good burgers. So it was an interesting place, and it was really nice people. But yeah, not at all glamorous. Day 3, we headed out, still heading up the coast. Our final destination was Northern Oregon, basically. And so that was the day that we were moving through California up to Oregon. And our goal was to get to Grants Pass. And so that's where we were spending that night. And the whole day was pretty much filled with gorgeous drive, beautifully stunning trees, just on and on and on and on and on. Beautiful coastline views when we could get near the coast, but mostly we weren't this time. And we made it to Grants Pass and looked around. Cute town, just adorable place. And we had lunch there and checked into our hotel, and we went and took a swim with an Elvis lookalike and had an interesting and lovely evening there. So we spent the evening in Grants Pass, Oregon. We were in Oregon then. So the goal for the next day was to go to Crater Lake in Oregon. And I have seen pictures of Crater Lake, and I just sort of assumed that, you know, how pictures are. Sometimes they just look a little enhanced or whatever, although I was told that this lake is absolutely stunning, and I thought, I really want to see it. So we headed off more inland to go to Crater Lake and check that out. And oh boy, howdy, I'm glad we did. It was the most beautiful lake I've ever seen. All of a sudden, it's just boom, right there, the most brilliant blue you've ever seen in your life. Unbelievable. It was stunning. And I'm just like, I just didn't even know. I didn't know this. I mean, I knew it was there, but until you really go, you're like, wow, why isn't this talked about more? You know what I mean? So we got to see Crater Lake, which was fabulous. Loved every second of that. So right after our time at Crater Lake, just staring at the beauty of it all and so forth and taking a billion pictures, we headed on down the road to Bend, Oregon. Bend, Oregon is a place that has always been on my radar. I've heard so much about it. I've heard it as being a great place to retire someday, and I've read books from people who have lived there, and I mean, just, I don't know, it's always just sort of been on my radar, and we were right there, and I'm like, I'm stopping at Bend. And I have a viewer friend that I've been corresponding with who happens to live there too, which was a surprise to me at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, you live in Bend? I'm gonna be there. So we arranged to meet one another, which was fantastic. So we drove into Bend, checked out the area, checked into the hotel, walked around to farmers markets and just got a lay of the land and walked around downtown, which was great. And then I went back to the hotel and, you know, cleaned up a little bit and met with my friend Becky. So my viewer friend that we've just chatted online a couple times back and forth with each other. I got to meet with her and we sat there for, it was probably an hour and a half. We had a glass of wine and we just chatted about everything, and it wasn't nearly long enough. I could have chatted with her for days. So, but we had some other things we had to do. So we said our goodbyes, got a quick picture, and then hubby and I went to eat at a seafood restaurant. And it was a place where they also have a concert venue and the, what are they called now? They were the Dixie Chicks. They changed the Chicks, I think they've changed their name to the Chicks. They had a concert going on there and people were paddle boarding and listening to the concert, and it was just fabulous. I love it. I absolutely love it. So it was a lot of fun. Then we went back to the hotel area, walked down from where the hotel was downtown, got some ice cream, and went to bed. And it was a fabulous day, and I'm so glad I got to see Bend and got to meet Becky. So the next day we got in the car again. We were driving a lot this trip. It was a big driving trip, but that was fine with us. We drove to Cannon Beach, Oregon. So we went back to the coast to Cannon Beach, which is considered one of the most beautiful beaches. And by golly, they're correct. It is. It was absolutely gorgeous. A cute little town area. Fun, fun, fun. But on the way, we got to stop at the hotel that was part of, in the movie The Shining by Stephen King. You may recognize it when you see the picture, but yeah, it was so fun just to see that place. It was gorgeous, a fabulous place to ski, beautiful up there in the mountains, just amazing, absolutely amazing. And then after that, we drove down to the rest of the way through Portland. So we got to go through Portland, just straight through and onto the beach. And where we ended up in Cannon Beach, Oregon, which was fantastic, gorgeous place, beautiful rock called Haystack Rock. It was just amazing. It was relaxing. It was gorgeous. We had 2 nights there and loved every second of it. Adorable little downtown. Found the shoes, my Ilsa Jacobson shoes there. Just walking around, enjoying ourselves, grabbing some donuts. I saw the most beautiful hydrangeas I think I've ever seen in a color that was unbelievable. Relaxing and just listening to the surf each night, sleeping with the door, the slider open and to the sound of the surf, and watching the sunsets, which were just stunning, and people making little fires on the beach at night. And it was so good and so exactly what we needed. So it was perfect in every way. Loved it. We ate at the Cannon Beach Hardware and Public House, which is also the Screw and Brew. It's actually a hardware store that you can, buy a bag of nails and grab a burger at the same time. An interesting place. We said, yes, we're gonna do this. We're gonna eat at the Screw and Brew. So we did, and it was really good. I loved my sandwich. It was a fun experience. They were decorating the place with things like, toilet plungers, because it's a hardware store. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun. So we ate dinner there our last night. Aren't we fancy? And then just slept to the sound of the ocean again before we had to head back to Portland to the airport to fly home to Chicago. So as you can see, it was just a very relaxing, just a big dip into nature. It was exactly what I needed. Just being around those trees felt like some sort of a spiritual experience. And then when you just listen to the ocean and see the beauty, and when the tide would go out, all the sea life, and oh my gosh, absolutely amazing, just amazing. So I'm so happy we took the trip. It was fantastic. Flew home, and then Jim went his way for work stuff, and I'm heading my way doing my stuff, and you know, it all hit the fan again right away. So we needed that break, and it was wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me with this. I loved it. Had a great time. It was great being able to tell you about it, and you can see some of the things that we saw. Highly recommend that part of the country. It just doesn't get enough praise. Take care. I will talk to you soon. Bye.